Hello guys, welcome back to Hollywood Recapped. Today I will recap you a movie named The Hollow Man, released in the year 2000. The movie starts with a scientist named Sebastian, who, in addition to spying on his neighbor, spends his time experimenting on animals in order to make them invisible. And now he's looking for a technique to reverse the effect, or reversion, using a computer. He tries many methods but fails one after the other until he comes up with the formula. And it appears to be the ideal one. He then calls Linda, another scientist and his ex-girlfriend who works with him. He informs her of his discovery and wants a meeting in the lab because he wants to begin testing. When they hang up, we witness Linda go directly to waken up a man in her bed, who turns out to be her coworker Matthew. Their relationship is hidden from all. When Sebastian gets to his lab, he bumps into his partner, who is dating Linda. Isabel, the invisible gorilla he was attempting to subdue for the experiment, has fled. In this scene, we observe that thermal cameras and goggles with the same technology are used to see the invisible animals. Finally, we meet Sarah, the team's veterinarian, who appears to be quite unhappy with Caine for the way he handles the animals. He doesn't seem to mind, so they go forward with the plans to inject the gorilla with the new serum he discovered. Despite Isabel's near-death experience, the experiment is a success. What's important is that the gorilla's invisibility has been reversed, and she appears to have all of her vital signs. To celebrate the achievement, the entire staff goes out to dinner at a nice restaurant. Linda and Sebastian take a break from the rest of the group to speak. We discovered that they were formerly a couple, and that he wishes to start again. She is no longer interested in him, but that is unimportant because he now has to reveal his discoveries to army generals who fund his research. He lies to them and claims that he still has no method to reverse it, and hence requires more time. When he departs his meeting, he informs Linda and Matt that he requested additional time because he wants to begin Phase 3. That he wants to test it on humans is why they return to the lab to make a group choice. He persuades everyone to support his idea. He also advises testing the serum on himself so that he can be invisible for 3 days and get the data needed to apply it to others. The following day, they complete all of the preparations, beginning with him bidding farewell to his reflection, in order to finally inject him with the invisibility serum, after following all of the necessary protocols. Despite the fact that it appears to have no effect at first, they want to do it all over again. The serum immediately begins to function, but the procedure is excruciatingly painful and causes his heart to nearly explode. But, in the end, everything works as planned, despite the fact that Sebastian is knocked out by the shock. When he wakes up, everything appears to be in order. However, in order to ensure the outcomes, he must be monitored at all times, which requires someone to work the night shift. Sarah, on the other hand, offers to keep an eye on things. But as soon as she's alone, she falls asleep. The worst happens when Sebastian uses his invisibility to touch her while she is sleeping. Then she just wakes up, unsure whether she dreamt it or not. However, she goes on to tell her coworkers about it. As a result, the girls begin to feel less comfortable because they never know when Sebastian may be watching them. He even offers sleeping with Linda just for her experience of doing it with someone who's invisible. She simply refuses him and does not give it much thought. After 3 days, they inject him with the reversal. But the issue is that it isn't having the desired effect. Furthermore, it nearly kills Sebastian due to his difficulty breathing. As a result, the experiment fails and he remains invisible. Despite this, they continue to look for a new solution that works on humans. To make matters easier, they dress Sebastian in a latex mask and clothes. As the days pass, it appears that our character's exams are becoming increasingly unpleasant. However, he is really interested in making his experiment a success, so that he can take full credit. He decides at night that he does not want to be kept like an animal. So he gets away by breaking his own rules. Carl, who was on duty that night, informs Linda that he has left. Meanwhile, Sebastian drives home, singing in his car, loving his independence. He sees his neighbor again as he arrives at the flat. He makes her a visit and ends up physically molesting her. Linda, who had gone looking for him, discovers his clothes and mask. However, he notices her from his neighbor's window and remains hidden until she leaves. She then proceeds to alert the rest of the team that they will have to go out and look for him, since they do not want to endanger the entire project. But then Sebastian appears, as if nothing had occurred. Then Linda threatens him with informing the committee what he's doing, in order to shut down his research. But he simply informs her that he is still the boss, and that anything she does will damage her career. Then they set things aside, and it's now Frank's turn to work the night shift. Sebastian informs him that he will be in the lab for some time. But it's merely an excuse for him to get certain things out of the way, so he can tweak the thermal camera. And this is how he gets out, despite the fact that the camera shows him still in bed. He goes there to spy on Linda, and discovers that she is dating Matthew, which enrages him to the point of breaking the glass. And when they look outside, they don't see anyone. Linda called Frank to see whether he was in his room. He just states that he is still in bed, and she relaxes despite her reservations. On top of that, Sebastian comes at the lab so enraged that he kills a dog used in research. Sarah was watching the animals the next morning when she noticed the dog had died. So Sarah and the others check Caine's camera, but it's useless because he appears to have been there all night. Linda begins to hear noises while working at home. She is so terrified that she rushes to the laboratory to see if the invisible man is still in his room, even if the camera shows him to be there. It is only then that she realizes he is not present. She quickly summons the entire team and informs them that they will inform the committee of what Sebastian was withholding from them. But they shouldn't be concerned because they will bear full responsibility. When they arrive at the home of one of the generals, we find that Sebastian had heard what they were planning and followed them. So they ended the meeting, and the general tells them they should leave since he'll handle the rest. The issue is that when he attempts to contact the other generals, the phone does not work. So he goes outside to smoke, but he doesn't know that he's not alone. Finally, Sebastian pushes him into the pool and drowns him to death. On the other hand, the crew has already started working, and is waiting for a reply from the committee. Although Linda believes it is unusual for them to wait so long to respond. So she contacts the man they visited the day before, and learns that he drowned. So she wants to see the other generals, but the only way out is the elevator, which requires a key to operate. But neither her key nor Matt's key work this time. So they approach Frank for assistance in searching the security system for any flaws. They discover they're trapped, because all of their codes have been wiped except for Sebastian. So they all go looking for him, but he's gone, and they have no idea that one of their comrades has been left behind. When the others enter Sebastian's chamber, he cautions them that instead of attempting to persuade him to give himself in, they should look for their friend. They listen to him, but it's too late because they only discover her dead body. So they make a strategy to capture him, through using the sensors. While Matt and Carter search for him, their strategy, however, is unsuccessful since their thermal goggles mistake the heat of the human body with the heat of the steam flowing out of the pipes. Sebastian takes advantage of this to injure and kill Carter. The situation worsens when he has Matthew in a corner and Linda rushes over to help him. Meanwhile, Sarah and Frank go in search of Carter, but Sarah understands that, unless they get some blood, he will end up dead. The trouble is that she goes alone, and Sebastian takes back the opportunity to follow her. She understands she is not alone there. To see where Sebastian is, she uses the blood to stain him. He is considerably stronger and eventually kills her. After that, Linda and Matt meet Frank, who informs them that Sarah left because his friend was about to die, but it took so long that he is now dead. So the three survivors proceed to the area where Sarah was supposed to be in search of her. They examine the area and use a fire extinguisher to do so. They check to see if Sebastian is present. At first, they see nothing, but a trail of blood leads them to a refrigerator containing their colleague's body. However, Sebastian ends up killing Frank from behind. Despite the fact that Matt tries to fight him off, Sebastian wounds him and locks him in the fridge with Linda. Fortunately, the injury did not contact any of his vital organs, thus he is not in risk of dying. Linda uses duct tape to seal the wound. Meanwhile, Sebastian goes to prepare his latex mask, wig, and whatever else he needs to look like a normal person again. He also builds a bomb and places a liquid in a machine that will cause everything to explode in a matter of minutes. But what he didn't expect was Linda to use a machine to create a type of magnet. So she can get out of the fridge and leave from there and get him. And before that she leaves her boyfriend in the heat to recover. She grabs some gas to use as a flamethrower in order to protect herself. And only finds Sebastian as he is about to depart the elevator. She does, however, manage to burn him and bring the elevator to a halt. He comes out, begins to remove his clothes, and flees when she runs out of gas. Linda, on the other hand, opens the fire sprinklers, causing the water to show where Sebastian is. He attacks her from behind, but only just before he is about to kill her. Matt appears and hits him with a pipe. Despite the fact that he makes the blunder of leaving him instead of killing Caine forever. As soon as he turns around, the invisible guy rises and takes the pipe, attempting to kill them. However, he becomes entangled in some wires, which electrocute him and partially reverse the effect of invisibility. They take advantage of the opportunity to leave the place. However, as they walk past the laboratory, they discover they are running out of time. Because the material Sebastian put in the machine will destroy the entire place. When they get to the elevator, they remember seeing a ladder through which they can escape. They manage to go up just as everything else was exploding. The explosion caused the elevator to rise, nearly killing them. The worst part was that Sebastian was on the roof of the elevator. He caught Linda off guard, causing the elevator to continue falling and breaking portions of the ladder, separating the duo. Sebastian tries to kiss her there, but she uses the distraction to grab the cable that held the elevator. She pressed the lever to unplug it, effectively ending Sebastian and his experiment. Finally, the couple emerges injured but unharmed. And the movie ends here. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you like the video. It helps the channel a lot.